All right. Good evening, everyone. Got feedback from us? Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the meeting of the Police Accountability Board for Prince George's County. Today's date is July 26th, I believe, and we will call the meeting to order at 6:45 p.m. One second. I will take a roll. If you are virtual, just say virtual, present, virtual when I call your name. If we're here in person, just say present, please. Carlos Sanchez.
Present.
Leah Bryant.
Sheila.
You know, okay.
I'm sorry, it's spelled differently,
But it's still, okay. I think you told me that before, too. Okay. Thank you. Dr. Coleman? James?
Present.
Jones?
Virtually present.
Thank you, sir. Melton?
Present.
Mr. O'Neill?
Present.
Mrs. Ridley? Mrs. Springs? Mr. Bergamini? Absent. And Calvin is here. All right. So we have 7. We do have a quorum. All right, cool. Next up on our agenda, the big task, the minutes. So hopefully, Daniel, have you received the minutes yet? Okay, thank you, sir. If everybody can get an opportunity to review them, we'll. Yes, ma'am. We're recording, Denise.
We're online.
I did want to note, Mrs., on the meeting agenda, we need to add the date of July 26th.
Okay. Actually, yeah, okay. All right, so we'll start with, April 26th. Did you get them, Mr. O'Neill?
Yeah, I got 'em.
Oh, okay. Did everyone get an opportunity to review those minutes from April 26th?
Did we accept the minutes?
Second.
Motion to approve was by Ms. Bryant, seconded by Mr. Sanchez. All in favor to approve the minutes from April 26th? Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir. No opposed? April 26th minutes are approved. Oh,
We going by this right here?
No,
No.
put that at the bottom. That's
Okay.
coming.
next are the May 10th, minutes. Daniel, if I'm going too fast, if you didn't get an opportunity, just let me know. Okay, thank you, sir. I did get a chance to, did everyone get an opportunity to review these? The minutes from May 10th, I'm sorry, thank you.
You will see something on page 2, in yellow.
Mm-hmm.
We were having difficulty hearing it on the recording. And so, Carlo, if you could clarify what was being said here, so we will fix it accordingly.
I'm trying to, I think we were having a discussion, I recollect, we were having a discussion regarding doing, quarterly reports. And we were really just worried, there were a lot of reports in the strategic plan and kind of getting them in sync. So I think we wanted to do reports quarterly, if possible, but it also depended on if the strategic, how we decided that in the strategic plan.
So what did it mean by render decision recommendation?
That is a very good question.
Does anybody remember what that was? It was between getting the reports,
Oh,
it was something, it was,
because I think there were certain types of data that we were worried that doing it quarterly wouldn't provide enough
Oh, right.
of a trend or give us an ability to, what are we reporting out on? If it's quarterly, quarterly might not give us enough data to see real trends. And so I think we wanted to do most reports quarterly, but some of the reports, we were willing to allow sufficient time so that we could really look at
Capture the
trends
data,
and
right.
make sure that we're getting a full picture of what the data's telling us.
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't mind, but it's to capture data?
Yeah, it was really about data, because I think we have a lot of reports, and there was a blanket statement to just say, let's do a bunch of quarterly reports, but I think there's certain things that if we're gonna report out, especially once we're getting cases in, taking a look at 3 months might not offer us enough data to look at trends versus 6 months or a full year.
Okay, so the discussion was the time frame between receiving quarterly reports and allowing sufficient time to capture data in those reports?
To capture data, to be able to provide decisions and
Recommendations, okay.
recommendations, yeah.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that also meant that, in the discussion also about seeing enough cases so we can see the trends and stuff, and then that would be.
Yeah, so we wouldn't wanna do a report quarterly, we might wanna wait for 6 months, right?
So we can see a trend
Exactly.
before we meet with.
Yeah, before we report anything out.
Thank you. We just didn't wanna put it
Yeah.
in there and not know what we were
Yeah,
saying.
no, I appreciate that, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, fella. No,
Just
thank
4
you.
months, yeah.
Okay. So, you gonna make that change?
So do we,
Yeah,
do we
maybe.
need to make the change, or does it come back, or does it change the tally sheet, what's on there regarding that
No,
motion?
we just didn't know, we couldn't understand it.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
just
that's all I was just asking, if we needed to get the clarifying language, or we're fine with.
well, the one I'm asking you all, if
Mhm.
somebody would make a motion, what will change is the timeframe discussion, timeframe between receiving quarterly reports and allowing sufficient time to capture data in those reports and be able to provide decisions / recommendations.
Okay.
That'll be the new language.
Okay, I move that we add the amended language to the minutes.
All right, motion made by Ms. Bryant, seconded by Mr. Melton, to accept the amended, minute. I'm sorry, I'm writing it. Okay, sorry. All in favor to accept the changes to the minutes from May 10th? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, sir. No. Minutes are accepted for May 10th, unanimous. Next up, minutes of June 14th. Sorry, 1 second, I saw that. Oh, no, I didn't have anything, okay. Everybody get an opportunity to review June 14th minutes? All right, feel free to take a little time.
So, question, just
Can you make a motion, so?
okay, so it'll be in discussion, not a problem. I move to adopt the June 14th, 2023 meeting minutes.
Motion made by Mr. James, seconded by Mr. Melton. All in favor? Oh,
No.
So I have a question. On the second page, it references the motion affirming creating a list of police complaint data points recommending uniform system. Where are we capturing, like, the status of that? Do you understand what I'm asking? So, after the return to open session, 7:57, there's a motion underneath there for us to create a list of police complaint data points.
Mhm.
How are we capturing that action item and the closure of that action item? It's in here and it accurately captured, I'm just trying to figure out how it doesn't just end here.
She can do it, and then I had answer, but go ahead.
Okay.
I know that Dr. Coleman and Tangi worked on something, and I know that, I've seen a version of it, I don't know if they're ready to share it yet, because a lot's been going on with, vacations and other stuff, but I have seen something.
So my answer was, when we go back to the action item, we can put that in the action item as a way that it's supposed to do it,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And would you wanna see that going forward, we try to, deadlines or something like that?
Yes, at least some status so we aren't just to get lost over time.
You'll get that again in the action item, that's what that's for.
And then there's, I think we gotta make some corrections on, I'm gonna use the closing statement one.
Okay.
Oh, never mind, I see it. I see how it's done, it's fine.
One of these minutes, I can't remember, I think it might have been the May 10th, had me giving you a copy.
You gotta keep with where we are.
Was it the 14th? Well, it might have been the 14th. Had me giving you a copy of the categories that the CPOP used for, I did that,
It says it in here.
but I mean, I've done it, I was supposed to print it and give it to you tonight.
There's some place in one of the minutes where it says Denise did it. It says you did it.
Oh, maybe I gave it to you already?
Something you did on the same night you sent it, I think, based on Mr. James' request, I don't.
No, I printed it out again, but I forgot to bring it down.
I'll find it, Denise. Oh, there was one about another. Keenan James, is this the one requested a summary data of complaints submitted to the PAB? Denise Hall sent the complaint data to Mr. James prior to the end of the meeting? Is it that one or another?
No, it had to do with the categories of allegations.
The nine
The 9 different
categories.
categories, yeah.
That's in here.
I've done that, I'll get it to you, it's on the break. If I haven't already given it to you, I will.
That's in, sorry, I'm going totally out of order, but it's on page 2 of, May 6th.
Oh, okay. Anything else, Mr. James? So, the motion was made by Mr. James to approve May 10th minutes.
Question by Mr. Melton.
Oh, I'm sorry.
June 14th.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you, Ms. O'Neill. I'm still looking at that one, okay. June 14th, and it was seconded by Mr. Melton. All in favor to accept the minutes from June 14th, 2023, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Minutes are accepted. Unanimous. Next is, the minutes from July 12th, 2023. Okay.
Motion to accept the July 12th minutes.
Motion made by Mrs. Bryant to accept the minutes from July 2023. Second. Take your time.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Sanchez. All right. Good. All in favor to accept the minutes from July 12th?
Just a question.
Yes, sir.
Just in reference to these meeting minutes, they do capture the meeting minutes. However, I will say the approval of minutes section is missing from the video that's currently posted online. So that entire section is missing from that public record as well. You go look online, it's not there.
Repeat what he said? Repeat what he said?
For the July 12th meeting minutes, it has a reference to the approval of minutes.
Oh.
That section, of that discussion that was captured at the last meeting regarding the minutes from April, May, and June is deleted from the video online. And so I just would like that addressed.
Y'all delete certain parts?
Now, maybe I see it.
I'm always say approval of minutes here,
Correct.
and say under review by PA staff. And
We don't delete anything, we posted just as it is.
He's saying it wasn't posted at all, right? Is that what you're saying?
On video, right?
Yeah.
Are you saying the minutes weren't posted?
I'm saying that section, that discussion, that piece regarding approval of the minutes is missing in the video that's posted online. That entire 2 minutes, 3 minutes of discussion is deleted. It's not there.
Was any other part of, was the part before that on there?
Yes, the call, the roll, all of that's there. It skips that section, then it goes
Because you all
into,
didn't approve any minutes.
Right,
agreed.
so I'm saying, just when we talked about that.
That's all deleted.
It must be a glitch because, Ashley texted me, said everything, she posted it as it is.
So missing, okay. Hold on, I'm making a note that we can get with IT.
You said it's 2 minutes?
No, I'm saying if you go to approximately 1 minute, maybe around 55 seconds or so, there's a definite piece where that piece is cut out. So somewhere around 55 seconds, somewhere to 55, 57, you can easily see that it's cut out.
The skip is gone.
You can tell. And part of the way you can tell is, bless your heart, Ms. Bryant, you're in there, but your arm completely moved in an unnatural way possible.
Oh.
Really?
Because you were virtual.
She said does it glitch or does it jump or anything?
There's a whole section and discussion that we had that's not there. So if it's a glitch, I can see it, but the whole discussion is not there.
Said I will ask web support. It did take a week to post it. So,
Okay. You're welcome. Missing from the, go ahead, yes, ma'am.
They didn't vote yet.
No, not yet, no. So Ashley, she'll get back with us,
yeah, she'll get back.
With that.
She's going to,
and we can figure out, but we can still accept the written minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So who made the motion in a second? I'm sorry.
She'll make the motion,
Sheila and
Carlos second.
Carla, okay. So, we'll get with that. And Ashley, can you send that out to everybody once you get the findings from that, please? I know you.
Yes, I can.
Yep, so thank you. All right. Motion to approve the written minutes from July 2023. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. Minutes from July 2023 are accepted.
Yeah, they're up there.
Next is old business on it. Oh, go ahead.
Action item.
Oh, action items. I didn't see that. Okay.
That's all part of the minutes.
Oh, do I have that?
You should.
Don't worry. Yeah, I'll check. No,
I
you,
have it under old business,
Or you put it under old business
with the
after.
senior plan.
let's go
Yeah,
ahead
I
and
have it
thank
under
you.
old business.
You wanna go ahead, Delmar? We can.
So, at our last meeting, I, last meeting indicated we get so much stuff that we say we're gonna do, so I thought it would be helpful for the board if I pulled out from each of the minutes the, action items, and after pulling them out, wanted to be able to look and see the status. So what you'll start getting is a running list of action items, and underneath, since this is the first time, the status of those action items. So if it's okay, I wanted to go through and see where we were. I'll add that to the running list, and then we'll add on each month, or each meeting, I'm sorry. So the first one, is to create a template for board members to complete within 5 days after meeting with community, it should have been members, I'm sorry, and I'll correct it, and or law enforcement. Daniel, that was on, your plate. I wanted to find out what the status is.
Yeah, I believe it was the following meeting or right thereafter, I felt pretty sick, so I kind of slipped through the cracks. I haven't had the opportunity to complete that yet, but I can get that finished and over to the rest of the board. Definitely before the next meeting, but certainly within a week or so.
Okay, if we could, the other thing, and I think Mr. James made reference to it, which is what we wanted to do, is actually put dates on this so that we can have a way of, so whatever date you think you can reasonably get it, if you could give us a date, I'll add it.
Yeah, we'll do a week from today, so I believe that's August 2nd.
Okay. Thank you. The next one, and we may have to ask, I don't know if he sent it to you all or not, Denise, the prologue historical section for the strategic plan.
No, but I sent him a reminder today.
Who is this now?
Danny.
That was Danny.
Danny, yes. I
The
sent
same
him-
Danny or the new Danny?
No,
Danny V or Danny J?
Danny V.
Daniel and Danny, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll find out, and once I get it from him, I'll add it on here. As to his was due, his would have been due May 10th, so we'll get a new date. Legislative recommendations, that's complete. At least the draft is complete.
And what is that now? And again, what's the legislative
I
recommendation?
sent you the document in the email today.
It was the legislation, both the state and the county legislation. You all, I think it was a subcommittee that made recommendations, and then the full board discussed them and
Is
voted
that the
them.
one where we changed, asking them about the language? That's not that one?
Yes.
And sending a letter to the county and the state, okay.
It was a full, it wasn't a subcommittee, it was a full.
Full
Full
group
board.
did it at the same time, okay. So that's complete, and Denise sent it out to everybody today. Then you had asked for,
That went out
request
today?
for the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
With the agenda, I hope.
Yeah, it's on there with the agenda, sorry.
Keenan James request for Attorney General letter regarding and/or language pertaining to police misconduct. Denise, you sent that out, right?
Repeat that, please.
The AG opinion. So, the AG opinion that came out about 2 months ago, so I was at training today, they confirmed with the commission that the AG has said that it's any of the three. So we will get you not later than, Denise, when can, you got it from Mr. Bennett, right, IG Bennett?
No, it's in my email, 'cause I remember one meeting, I showed it to somebody on the phone. I just have to go back to my email and put it.
So can you give us the date so I can put it on here?
I can send it to you by the end of the week.
What date? I just need a date.
I don't, what's Friday's date?
Oh,
28th, is it?
Okay,
yeah, Friday, 28th.
okay.
So are these the two of the same legislative recommendation, and the second one is that Kennedy requested regarding language? You know, is that where we was talking about, they meant or, if, and things like, but aren't those two like the same?
They're the same except in this regard, that was one of your recommendations, but that you were gonna give, but the Attorney General has already made a determination that it should have been read as or. One is what you all are doing, your recommendations, the second one, Mr. James had asked for the letter. from the Attorney General,
This is State's Attorney General,
AG.
AG, Attorney General, Brown.
Yeah,
Okay.
cause here, yeah. So we just make sure it comes to you by July 28th. Keenan James requests a summary data of complaints submitted to PAB sent by Denise Hall prior to the end of the meeting, so that's complete. Earl O'Neill requests a copy of budget. You received that, Mr. O'Neill?
No, because the new budget was just voted on, I guess, by the council. Did our budget get approved?
But this was the
But
older
that,
budget.
at the time of that, I sent you the budget that you wanted.
That was from last year.
Yeah,
But
but
that's what this is.
that's from the budget that you wanted from last year.
Yeah, but I would like to see the one this year.
I know, but I'm just doing the action item, so
Yes,
that's
sir.
complete. Okay. Were there anything else? Those are the ones I gleaned from the April 26th. If you all see anything that I didn't see, please feel free to send them, and I'll add it to the list. We're going to May 10th, 2023. Research whether there's a mandated time frame to contact complainants after final disposition of complaints. That's Mr. Bennett. Denise, if you could follow up with him as it relates to that to get a date. Verify whether complaints are notified if an officer requests a trial board. That's also IG Bennett. And if I understood the conversation today in training, I believe the case is yes, but we'll wait for it from Mr. Bennett. Provide PAB board members with the 9 categories of police misconduct utilized by the CCOP for consideration for use by the PAB.
That's what I'm giving them at the break.
At the break, so it'll be today. What's today?
The 26th.
Is that different from the matrix?
It's different. What you all were discussing was how to categorize these complaints. And I mentioned that there were 9 categories that the CCOP used to use, like use of force, unbecoming conduct, and some of that, and you asked for the list of.
Next one is subcommittee to review matrix and provide feedback to PAB members. Those members are Lafayette Melton, Keenan James, and Sheila Bryant. Understand from Ms. Bryant that, from the last meeting, you all decided to put a hold on that one?
Well, no,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, we wanted just a little bit more clarity about our objectives. And so we knew that we had to take a look at the matrix, but we didn't really recall exactly what the takeaways were gonna be that we could present back. When we presented that to Denise said, well, I wanted y'all to hold off on that. I had some thoughts to share or, some information I need to share with you all, and you all may make a determination on how you look at the matrix, so we put a hold on it at that point.
Well, I think it was her recommendation. I just want to make it clear, it was her recommendation.
And I
So the email went to the chair, Mr. Chair, to ask you, what did you want us to do?
All right, now, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it was right after I came back from the same
Training.
training you went to, and they explained the matrix to me in great detail and how it was developed. And my suggestion was, in an email, that we maybe step back a moment and see what this matrix is, so that when you're reviewing it from the lens of how the state determined it, which is quite different from what I thought it was.
So that's,
It was actually, okay, it was what I thought.
Well, no, we see, the matrix, the Prince George's County matrix used to be based more on the infraction and how to categorize. But the state matrix is based on how it affects the community.
Its impact.
Its impact on the community when it comes to categories. Like a category A would have the least impact on the community, and a category F would have the greatest impact on the community. So, well, you could have a use of language in 2 categories. It depends on how that language impacts the community. If you had a one-on-one, this is my interpretation, if you had a one-on-one when you call somebody stupid, it may be an A. But if you decided you were gonna go to a parade or somewhere and be an officer calling somebody stupid, that's a greater impact on the community.
So let me give you an example of something that might, and we experienced this today, we had to do one, right? So there was one where the man was at the Metro Center, and a guy was smoking on transit property. And the transit police went over to him and cursed him out and said, you need to get your something, because he was also, videoing, but he said language, bad language in the front. Did you get the same one? Well, he had bad language. But what would have been an example of really wanting to hear you all thoughts, when I read the matrix, we picked the code section that he was in violation, which was language, profane language. They put examples of what would go under category B. One of the things they put under there was profane language. We thought that was instructive of where we needed to go on the matrix, and in fact, it wasn't. That wasn't clear looking at the matrix, having nothing to do with how you interpret it once you do it substantively. But there may be some things that they can look at to see if it's clear to somebody who now has to use in the four walls of the matrix itself. Because when the commission talked to us, some things made sense, but I would not have necessarily gleaned that from just reading the matrix.
And they also discussed mitigating and aggravating
And aggravating.
circumstances that come into play when you're deciding on these categories. So like she said, just looking at that matrix that we're given to you, that was why I sent the email saying, I think I sent it to, I believe I sent it to both of you.
You didn't get it?
I just sent it to you, sir.
Yeah.
You did.
But I think there are some things y'all can look at in the four walls of the matrix
So,
Okay.
today.
I think what will be helpful in that review is to have some cases to actually look at in some, complaints and then the decisions from the ACC to see if you think that it lines up or if there's any gray areas. Because I've heard some things from the police department as well. Sometimes there may be some gray areas. And we can talk about that. I don't have an example, but I'll try to find it in one of the cases. But I think it's good to take a look at some of the, decisions that the ACC has rendered, and then, look at the matrix and see if it has been applied the way that you think that it should have been applied, or if there are gray areas, should we move categories around, and like the example that you just gave, and things like that.
Or even if it's clear when you read it, how to utilize it. Y'all are doing it, but today, for the first time,
You guys got the opportunity, yeah, so.
Yeah, well, we had questions.
So, in order to give you a date of when we can finish that, are there enough cases on guys now for us to? Already out there?
Yeah, well, there are some cases out there, right, Denise? Have you added any more?
Tangi's putting the rest of the cases in this week. But, I think we need to know, I probably need to go through those cases and find some of the ones that are better examples that you're talking about, like between A, B, and C.
Okay.
But just dropping some cases in there, I may not drop the right kinds of cases for them to make their determination.
That would be my only concern, is to take, a blind sample, as opposed to, look at this one. I just wanna make sure we're being as fair as possible, as opposed to, I get what you're saying, there are some instances where it shows up, but I just don't know if we wanna take a blind sample as opposed to review specific cases where we believe is the issue. But that may be the way to do it.
Well, maybe taking a case, right, and just working it, and
See how it
seeing
comes out. Right.
what questions you get, how easy is it for you to do what they do every week?
Right.
And if there's some things that come out of it and say, oh, it would have been helpful if the matrix added this or said this.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, a blind case to go through it that way, as opposed to a case that's,
Right.
where it's come up as questionable.
Oh, I see what
You
you're
see what
saying.
I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
That-
So, okay.
Because otherwise, I'm already, if you give me one and say, here's a questionable one, I'm looking for the
So
questionable.
how about this, how about we give it, but we kind of redact, we can redact that information? Because I don't think.
No, we don't need to redact it anymore.
As long as they don't know it's
Right,
questionable.
right, that's what I'm saying, that part.
Oh, redact the decision?
Yeah. So is that what you're saying?
Well,
I think that's what he's saying.
well, I think what Keenan is saying is, if we just take a blind case, we'll go at it with a clean slate.
Right.
We won't have any preconceived notions about it being some sort of like confusion or some
Okay.
gray area. But then, knowing the decision is fine, because we're just comparing how we would have got there to the decision that they gave.
Okay.
If it aligns, we'll be like, okay, that's cool, maybe we do another case.
Oh, right.
But if we feel like I didn't get that.
So just make
Then
note
we
of
can
that,
make a
okay.
note and why.
Right, even if you redact it, it's like, okay, I know it's supposed to come out in some way. I'm just saying,
Right, right,
just go at it blindly.
okay,
So let me be clear on what it is you want. You just want the cases to go in, you don't want me to redact out your decision?
they say they can know the decision, that's fine,
Okay.
yeah.
Can we get
And that would
that?
be helpful too, right? To know what.
To actually compare again.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
we'll need
yeah,
that at the.
okay, okay.
So can you all give me a date, because they're already in there, and y'all can.
No, they'll be in by Friday, because
Okay, they're by
they just finally finished the environment.
Okay.
We're putting cases in there.
So if you all could give us a date.
We don't know how many, the number is coming in.
Well, they'll all be in by Friday.
I mean, we say all next week.
Probably 60-something.
You out next week.
Not next week, no, I'll be here next week. I leave on Friday.
You leave Friday next week?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Friday, this week or next week?
No, she's leaving.
You talking about y'all completing
Yeah,
y'all?
yeah, she's taking everybody with her next Friday.
Be back on the 14th.
Denise, could I ask?
I couldn't get it done until the end of the month.
Can we say the first, the second?
I mean, we can have a update at the September meeting, the first September meeting, is
That makes,
is
yeah,
fair.
I think that gives you enough time
Yeah.
too, to review those, yeah, because, you know, you guys do have, full-time jobs.
No,
September
13th.
13th, yeah.
Okay, thank you. The next one is research how the MPTSC processes recommendations and provide appropriate context for the county and MPTSC. I don't know who, that was in there, I don't know that I knew exactly what that means. And if y'all wanna keep on, I did get
On
a
the-
card today from the trainer who's in charge of it, so I can, he said call anytime.
Yeah, that's assigned to IG Bennett in the meeting minutes. From
so I'll put IG
May
Bennett.
10th.
What's that stand for? MVP, that's the Maryland?
Police training.
Okay.
And I can, Denise, would you let him know I can help, because since I went today, I have the contact information.
He has Wayne's number.
So that, you're gonna talk to him about a date for that, okay? The next one is whole chief coffee chat,
We said that.
we've done, right, the June one,
Yes.
okay, that's complete. Next one is place 5 cases in teams, Denise,
Yeah, I did that, I put those
Completely.
down. Well, I didn't put it in teams, I gave them the, sent redacted and sent them by email.
That's the question I got. The ones coming Friday, what are they coming
They
to?
would not be redacted, they would be inside the team, your team.
So we have to go through the team, through this, to not our personal computer, but this.
Not your personal computer, but your county computer.
Gotta go, okay.
and the last.
Hold on.
I'm going, just wanna make sure something, Chief's Coffee Chat, it has June, but I think we did it in July.
Did we do it June?
Was it?
But the minutes said June, we just were off.
Yeah, I think the original, when it was proposed, it was June, I think it got moved to July, but just wanted to make sure. But I think it was originally proposed for
It
June,
was,
and it got moved to July.
yeah,
Gotcha.
and I'll put that in the notes, that it was actually the actual date. And then the last one is provide feedback regarding the rules and procedures. And I thought that had, didn't that have some people assigned to it?
Say that again, Mama Joe.
I think that was everybody,
Was that all? Okay.
and, we don't have a date.
And no, there was no date, and I don't know,
It was a date, due, I know, remember sending back the feedback, but there was a date
I
due.
don't think I saw them in the minutes. Is it in?
You sent your feedback.
I did.
Yeah.
It's in mine, I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's in the main meeting.
Kevin,
Yes, ma'am.
can you move your mic, she said that you move your stuff.
Oh, I did that on purpose. I'm waiting for Mr. Melton to give me one of those good mics. Sorry, I'm sorry. Carlos
If
did it.
anybody wants to
My
look,
fault.
I'm trying to find it, I don't know.
You good. 10?
Chief Police, you looking for?
Oh, the due date has been extended, thank you, May 19th, 2023. Denise, can you tell me who so far has?
I
Mr.
don't,
James.
I'm looking for Mr. James now, because I don't recall getting any, so
I
don't think
I'm looking for his now.
Not a problem, I will forward that to you.
Can you send to me again?
Absolutely.
I don't recall getting any from anyone.
I'll send you mine too, again.
Okay.
So since for these minutes, this one was due,
We got
we can come up with a
new
new
due
date.
date.
Could you all give me a date and I'll add it?
A couple of days before the next meeting.
Next meeting is August 9th.
Yeah,
Oh, I won't be there.
Records too. Give me and I'll add it to the minutes for this.
Next second month meeting, second of the month meeting. The,
Never mind, Mr. James.
You thinking of the,
23rd,
yep, the 23rd.
What date
9th is the 23rd.
of August? Which one would you all prefer?
Cause we got some people not here, well, we can say
23rd?
Yep.
No.
Oh, okay, I had already hit send.
23rd,
Okay, May 23rd,
yes.
okay.
Oh, that, what is that?
The,
The ones
Right,
we
you already
didn't
did
send them in, we
feedback.
gonna do the 23rd, we have feedback by then.
Mr. James, you made reference to something earlier that you asked about, and I don't know that I see it on here.
So let me go back to, it may be, that was the list of police complaint data points and recommending uniform system. I guess that, it's on the, June 14th meeting minutes.
Okay, I haven't done those, so, okay. I will have those out, today, Wednesday. I'll, now that we've approved the June 14th and July 12th, and the July 12th, I'll pull any action items from that, added to this sheet.
I know this is gonna be used for us to keep a current eye on what we've completed and what needs to be done. But will this also be used as part of our tracking? Because our strategic action plan has a number of things where we aim to do, some of which we're doing, but aren't on this. So, I'm kinda curious if we have another method of checking.
I think you're
Boxes
gonna
that
go
we've
through
completed.
that on the strategic plan, you might wanna suggest that is what system we have for
Okay,
it.
alright.
I don't know if y'all came up with the milestone or the implementation, but that's next on the list, though, on the strategic plan list. Okay. So I'll have these out prior to our next meeting with Dave.
Chair, one additional question. I had asked one earlier, and I don't know for sure, but have we resolved whether Prince George's Community College and Bowie State's police departments?
I know the answer.
All right, I asked in November, but we got an answer.
I got it today.
All right.
Community college is local.
What?
Is what?
So that will fall,
Under our
that's
purview.
What
fine.
now?
It's
So
local.
there
Okay.
is a state ACC,
Yes,
and the state ACC would do state, like University of Maryland.
Right.
but that has under ours right now.
It should be under theirs. It's supposed to go to them, not us.
It's- So University of Maryland should be state.
State, yep.
Mhm.
So
So-
would Bowie State, because it's part of the University of Maryland
System.
Oh.
Okay, that's,
Also, I asked about, because I thought we asked about park and planning.
which is by county,
Bi-county state.
state, yes.
Yeah.
Which is, okay, yes.
Well,
But
Prince
we
George
have-
is in.
We are in the process of trying to send school board police.
Now, he did say that there's some schools that use certain different police, some that are state, some that are local, and that would be what's dispositive on what it is.
I think the determining factor is whether or not they're Maryland certified police officers.
I just know
Well,
we had
everybody-
we had a community college with its own police department. Some other counties did, and they were responsible That's why I was just figuring out, if we had that, and originally we had University of Maryland on our list,
But I asked
which
him-
I said, okay, does that mean Bowie State gets included? But you're saying, and I understand for good reason why they
Yeah.
would come
And
on.
that certification stuff, and maybe at another meeting, to me, that part was really interesting, how Maryland is different than other jurisdictions, because it's based on whether you're here or not, not a time frame. So the minute you leave a job, even if I leave Capitol Heights and go to District Heights, I have to get recertified, which most places will say you keep your certification for a certain period of time, not here in Maryland.
You mean between municipalities or
Between municipalities. I was really surprised. Yeah, so
Which
anyway,
is a good thing.
yeah. Okay, so I will have these prior to our next meeting. And I will also ask staff to work with me to put it in some kind of format, so it's kind of in a chart with status and not just this. I just wanted to get it to you in a timely fashion, so I did what I know how to do. Any questions on action items? I think, Mr. Chair, now we have caught up in total on our list.
Yes, I concur with that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, and then Denise had put it in. Next on the agenda, I'm sorry, community outreach.
No, we haven't done the strategic plan.
Wait, oh my goodness, see, here we go.
Okay. If you
Okay,
all
hold
have
on.
your strategic plan document, we are on page 5. Sorry, page 4. We are under goal 3, improve police accountability. Just by way of a reminder, the first objective under there was to examine policing among law enforcement agencies nationally, best practices, emerging practices. And we took out the milestones, and we moved the milestones. And I won't even go through them, but, because you all have them on your sheet. And now we go from examining policing among law enforcement agencies. We got rid of number 2, which was to identify trends in the disciplinary process. And our new number 2, based on what you all said, was recommended changes to policies that will improve police accountability, make recommendations for improvement of law enforcement agency and/or Prince George's County policies and practice, conduct analysis of policing strategy, policies and practices to identify lessons and best practices. Under the milestones, 2, review at least 12 different agency-specific policies referencing community complaint process submission. The next one, number 3, and this is Mr. Melton, I think you read, utilize technology to track and analyze data, or you were talking more broadly to, is that covered, or you were really talking about something different?
Oh, that's pretty straightforward and accurate, yeah.
I'm sorry, to go back to that milestone, I have in my notes, we struck out at least 12 and made it all.
Review,
All.
okay, okay, yeah, 'cause I have some request complaint process for all relevant, okay.
So we struck out the at least 12
12,
language,
okay.
and made it all.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Next, number 3, utilize technology to track and analyze data. On the milestone, we had present tracking and data analysis report generated by staff. Originally, it was at least monthly, and we turned it to quarterly. Were there any other milestones under the tracking that you think should be included? Okay.
That was change from monthly to quarterly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other additions to those milestones? Okay. Hearing none, we're on number 4, which was previously 5. It is to seek community feedback. And the first one, the milestone was hold at least 3 in-person, and we have not done this at all, so this is for you all to speak to. Host at least 3 in-person community listening sessions to garner input from the community. Yay, nay. Develop and implement, and it should be I'll fix it, sorry. An online community feedback process hosted on the PAB webpage. Yay, nay.
Feedback process.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should make that a little more specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
If you can give us some verbiage, Mr. Melton.
Well, it depends on how the board feels about it. Do we want generic feedback from any angle about our performance as a PAB? Or do we want specifically certain types of feedback? How our cases communication is going for the community?
For the process and how they, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Would this be the section where, you know, we had talked about it, when we go out to the community, we would have to have a PowerPoint or something to tell them what our roles is, then have the feedback, you know, so they, you know, there's not.
This would be,
Like a repository online where, or email address where they can just talk to the board or give.
In a form to say, how easy was it to file your complaint, or if you ever had any complaints, something like that,
Oh,
that would help us streamline the process to make recommendations. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Okay. So do you have some language that you would prefer here that would feel is better suited?
So would that be something that we would want to have, if it's feedback to people that have filed complaints, should that be something that they get sent if they file a complaint versus just having it open? Because if it's open, then anyone could really give us feedback.
You know, we would know that if we go to a community meeting, we don't know who in that audience has filed a complaint. You know, if we go to Antara, the Civic Association, we're just telling them who we are and stuff.
Couldn't that be on the webpage?
I mean, it's when we go to the community, some people might not even know about our webpage, that's all I'm saying, you know.
Oh, go ahead, Mr.
I was gonna say, right now, the email address exists on the webpage, so if somebody wants to submit feedback, they have an avenue
Okay,
already
that's
to
true.
submit feedback, as opposed to trying to narrow down to what feedback, who, and, so they have an avenue to submit feedback. The second point, to add to the earlier list, I guess we talked about that PowerPoint, we didn't put that on the list, but you just referenced it, and I thought about that was an action that we had earlier too.
Oh, that's the second thing, yeah?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
two things.
Yeah, I think I had volunteered to help with that.
Okay.
Which
You had
one,
something,
or what?
For the
To help
action
create
list.
the PowerPoint list, the
For the
PowerPoint
community.
slide for the community outreach.
Was that one of which,
It should have been an action item, I didn't.
on which
think
date, so I can put it on record?
Oh, it's been a while back.
Yeah, we just need to.
If
Yeah,
y'all
if we
okay, I'm
find-
gonna put it for today.
Okay.
okay,
Cause I don't wanna guess.
okay,
I'm a proponent of general feedback.
okay.
You know, I think at one point you discussed, there was some feedback about how our meetings was going
Mhm.
and some contention and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't wanna pinpoint exactly what feedback.
You want them to have the opportunity
Yeah.
to express their,
And then
opinion.
if, as Keena said, it could be as simple as if you have any feedback about the PAB, please use this email and send it to us. So, I mean, I'm okay with that too, and that would be the process, so.
So then we will have to, when we read every email, then we would develop, from reading all of the email, whatever the feedback was, how would we capture all of that and put it back? Where I was thinking that there would be a form
Yeah, I'm cool with
And then we
that.
can capture the data in a form, rather than to have it scattered all over the place. And then we can have a section that says comments. I don't know, the language can be the performance of the PABDs, whatever the case may be.
But, are we talking, okay, we had a community group, I'm saying, when we'll go to the community groups,
Mhm.
I was unimpressed with talking about, in that meeting, we have people there, they say, you know, getting their feedback when we do the comment section, you know, I mean, you know, what they thought, what they're saying in the community.
But this wasn't when we originally wrote this,
Uh-huh.
this was just community feedback. It might have been from a community meeting, it could have been somebody who just listened to us on the,
Right, recording.
on the recording and had some
Well,
feedback.
I'm going to, that's why I'm reacting to the milestone host at least 3 in-person, I'm just talking about the in-person meeting.
Right, but that's
I mean-
a separate one.
Yeah, but we can
So
take notes, we can just
Yeah,
have.
we can
staff
collect
Or
that.
we can have a sheet when we go, that
Right.
we can give them if you wanna provide comments or.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm saying. Oh,
That could be
as long as
Yeah,
that-
this one specifically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was thinking too, and I think we're just going around, but, you know, developing a QR code, if, you know, just point your phone or the PowerPoint presentation, or have some literature and, you know, feedback form. But I develop and implement an online community feedback form.
Okay.
This is not in person. We're talking about online.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I think that is important is for people to feel safe. And sometimes when you're in person, people may not wanna be as completely honest. So online, in the privacy of their own home or wherever they do it, I think that we'll get more, accurate data, in my opinion, or accurate feedback.
So I wanna make sure I'm capturing it. So in one case, host at least 3 in-person community listeners at the garden, blah, 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 and provide, provide a feedback form at that meeting. And the second and the part, and Mr. Melton, you said you wanted more specificity.
Yeah,
You
so I was
still-
gonna say, we could end it with, after it says PAB webpage,
Okay with,
for general comment.
okay.
PAB webpage for general comments, okay.
There'll be a form that links to them to the.
Yeah, I think if we decide, I think we have to decide, but if we decide it's email, or if we decide it's a form, Microsoft Forms sometimes are pretty easy to make,
Yeah.
and so,
Did you just volunteer? That's what you
that ain't my forte.
Nah, okay, we can create a form, I don't have a problem.
Again, I apologize for being so anal. On the second one, is that gonna utilize the form, or is it just gonna be the email that gives them the ability?
I'm in favor of the form, Mr. Melton, what you think?
The only reason why I just would want like an IT person to tell us if that is a secure sort of process.
Okay.
They want that, I mean, I don't,
I mean, if.
I guess if we leave it anonymous,
Right.
then we don't need to worry about,
Okay, if it's secure, because they're
Yeah.
providing, I see what
because
you're
they
saying.
just provide feedback.
Gotcha.
We're not collecting names and
Or
all
we
that,
could
so.
put, a place for the name and leave it optional. Want it to be their name, make it optional, they don't have to.
For a contact, so
Yeah.
that, in
We
case
can
they,
get back
in
with
case
it.
they leave something,
Yeah.
they want information
Okay.
back, then we can make it optional. Then, like you said, right, we could just have categories, so then you could have one that's like general comments, one that's, complaint process, one that says, you know, board
Rated
meetings
1 to
or
5,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Stuff
then
like
they
that.
select which one,
Yeah.
have a little box where they can write it in and hit submit, and it goes to somebody instead.
You know, it sounds like Mr. Sanchez just volunteered to make that.
I don't know how to do it.
I agree.
I'm a big picture.
Denise is raising her hand, she's like,
I was gonna say, you answered my question about the anonymous, but, what I was gonna say is that if you look at our complaint form that was designed by IT, maybe we could use something similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
good,
And
great.
I think IT can modify
Okay.
that form to fit your needs.
you're off the hook, Mr. Melton and Carlo.
Yeah.
Sounds like IT just volunteered.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're creating, on that particular one for the website, we're creating a form.
Yes,
And we're gonna look at the IT form for guidance.
correct.
Right, okay.
Thank you, Denise.
Okay, the next one is, establish a quarterly one-pager that addresses some of the community comments, questions, concerns received over the previous 3 months for resolutions and/or solutions achieved based on community input. Okay. Next, host semi-annual public forums with police and PAB, and let me just explain this one. There were some things, like the first one, which were listening sessions, that did not allow the police to come. This one specifically had the police there.
Did somebody recommend this? Or
Yeah.
Here?
All of, most of these, I took certain things, and then I took all of the comments I got, and we merged them, so this was a,
Okay.
if y'all wanna take it
How you
off,
feel about
take
that,
it off.
Mr. Mel?
I just wanna know that we have the capacity to actually do something like that. I feel like as hosts, we would probably be intermediaries in a situation, but being able to successfully create the forum seems easy enough, but just being able to moderate, handle what comes with that seems particularly challenging, and I don't wanna overcommit to something that could be something that, you know,
Right.
is really difficult for us. Someone has a vision for how it could be done. I was curious how they see it going forward, but, that to me seems like something I would probably feel more comfortable and confident in, maybe with the new iteration of a future strategic action
Oh,
goals.
when y'all had a separate.
Well, we have done some community separate,
Gotcha.
police separate, and we kinda get our footing,
We can understand.
we understand,
Okay.
and yeah.
Great suggestion. So,
Yeah,
are
I
you
could
suggesting we
see-
take this one off?
I'm in favor.
Were you saying this would be, because that's it, talking about a forum just with police officers and stuff in it?
Police and the community.
The community, police, and.
But I'm with you on that. We gotta go down. Yeah, we gonna, man, we talking about that next year.
So we okay with
So
removing that
we're gonna
one?
move that to the long-term strategy.
Yeah,
For
That would be a
consideration, okay.
consideration.
Okay, so we'll have this version still alive so that we can make sure we don't leave it out the next time.
If there are any things on here that wanna be considered, because y'all asked, we'll put that in a sheet so you can see it. I think this is one of the first ones, though.
Yeah.
For consideration on long-term plan. All right, any other milestones that you would want to, see? Okay. So, the ones that we have, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, right? For this section. Okay. All right, we're on number 5. And I wanted to ask you all about this one, whether or not identify high-risk areas or practices of systematic weaknesses in Prince George's County policing, whether or not you all would be comfortable moving that to goal 3, number 1 milestone.
Number 3, sir?
Yeah, that was gonna be my comment, that it's a little redundant,
Yeah.
and that
But isn't that also, we need more cases to look at, identify? I mean, that's just like trends that we could recommend to them, and that's, I mean, we need to see more stuff before weaknesses and stuff.
Well, this was why I was saying it wasn't just community feedback, this was police accountability, moving
Yeah, that's
it
what I'm
to,
saying,
yeah.
right.
What do you think?
I was gonna say, unless something is glaringly dangerous or, high risk that we identify, and we don't really need a bunch of cases to validate it, that's an example of something that we might be able to identify without a bunch of cases.
So here we're just gonna move it to the broader, it'll be under improved police accountability and examine policing among law enforcement agencies, so it'll be under 1.
Yeah.
The next one is number 6. It's, review and report on the implementation of recommendations. The first milestone is to, can I stick a fork in and ask you all something, because I don't wanna lose it? This one did community feedback. This particular one, I don't remember seeing, and maybe I didn't go back far enough, where would the community, the chief's chat, did we address the interfacing with the police?
That was goal one, right?
Was it all the way?
Collaborative relationship between.
Did we put the chat, did we put the chief's chat in there?
Yeah, hold the minimum of quarterly meetings with law enforcement heads of each year.
And do we wanna be that specific or just to hold the quarterly? That's one of our milestones, because now we gotta create the strategic. Are you all okay, since that's something, Mr. Chair, that you were interested in seeing?
Is that similar to what you did in July?
The chief's meeting, yeah.
I don't think when we first started this,
Mhm.
we had thought about the coffee chat.
No, we
But
didn't.
that's something you all voted to do, so are you okay with us putting that as one of the things?
Like with the community?
No, chief chat, the
Oh,
police
okay.
chief chat, coffee chat.
Right, yeah, milestone.
I'ma just put it there.
Yeah,
when
I
y'all-
don't think we voted on that specifically, but I know it's been added, but I don't, just clarity, we done vote on it.
No, that's why I'm asking, are you okay? And then y'all would
Understood.
vote if you were okay with it.
I-
Yay, nay? Yes.
Yay,
Okay.
yes.
I just didn't wanna lose it. Okay, now we're on, milestone one, milestones, publish a PAB policy improvement and recommendation follow-up report. That's a mouthful. For the community, local government leaders, policymakers, and stakeholders. Yay, nay?
Question, wouldn't that just be the report that we file at the end, that we submit at the end of the year anyways? Don't they kind of serve the same purpose?
I'm not sure who offered this one, and so that's a good question, the annual report versus what was written here.
I was gonna say, we probably could include something like that in the annual report, but this is a sort, like, I guess, whether this is its own report, or whether it's included, I think the action item should be done.
So we should include it maybe with strategic, the end of the year annual report, yeah. Have a section in our annual report.
So
I
you
like
want
that.
that to be part of an annual report?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
like that.
But if it is, then everybody, is everybody okay with that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
What section is that, Julie?
This is, it's the 07 new 6 report, review and report on the implementation of recommendations. The next one is assess local agencies' action or inaction regarding PAB recommendations in a public summary report that will be published, issued in July of each year. Reports will highlight results after 6 and 18 months. Then I had a question, I don't know who wrote this one either, and it says by July. Will y'all have a fiscal year that ends June 30th? Will that be enough time to do this? Maybe.
Mr. Chair, I would just, just reading it, it may be something that just rolls into the annual report for now.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
That way we
When
aren't
I'm
trying to
reading
do
it too,
several
yeah.
different reports.
Okay.
Just, I think we just have to be cognizant of what is in the annual report.
Right.
So if I could ask you all to do this, so under that milestone, I'm gonna change it to develop an annual report. We know these two things are in it. If there are other things as a subcategory that you wanna see included other than these two, can you send that to me, please? Send that to me by, what's reasonable for you all?
Did an annual report at the end of last year, right?
Yeah, but what you want in it?
But would it be inclusive of those sections that we already know, or would this just be sort of
These are
add
additional.
on?
Yeah, add on, yeah.
And what I will do, work with Denise on what's already in there and put that here too.
Okay.
Okay.
First full year annual report this December. Last annual report, we basically told people we was just getting started. You know what I mean? So putting this information in is gonna be new. I mean, because we still going by December, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so this would be new stuff. We can't really go by last because we had no data.
No, we're not saying to go by, we're just saying to include this in an annual report. Right.
If you, the 31st of July? Okay. Thank you.
Next, let's give you recommendations on additional
Monday.
sections to include in
For the annual report, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. The next one is number 7, and you'll see me put explain on 7, new 8, new 9, because I don't quite know what it means. Determine best practices and generate response to heads of municipalities within 3 days of reporting. Whoever did that, can they explain it? And if y'all want to keep it.
I understand it, just probably wanted to know if it was more specific. Also wondering, one of the things that sticks with in my mind is Keenan has consistently said, we just need to stay within scope. So with some of these, I always try to filter through thinking, what are we specifically being tasked to do? And so best practices and about what as it relates to heads of municipalities.
And within 3 days of reporting, I don't know what that means. So you all have to tell me if we're gonna keep it or if y'all gonna expound it.
Can you just say it again? It was a lot of words, I'm just,
Okay, it says determine best practices and generate response to heads and I don't know what heads, or municipalities within 3 days of reporting.
Was anybody, who made that statement? Okay.
But you know, I guess that the thing that Denise gave us last week, where they had to break down by municipalities, we would have to, and we saw the different cases from that. I mean, after a while, we could look at them, you know, we can't really give them recommendations.
I'd say remove that. That's my
Yeah. I mean, and I'll keep it as a strike, and then if maybe when that subcommittee does the long term, whoever wrote it might be able to expound, and y'all
Okay.
come at it a different way, or come, you know, with more
Revisit it,
explanation.
for me, I just think it's impossible. I mean, we don't meet every 3 days, right? So for the board to forward something, best practices, that's just not possible.
Within 3 days. Within
We
3
meet
days.
we meet every other day.
The next one is increase PAB access to investigative information from law enforcement to improve transparency. I wrote explain here too.
Okay, what is the first part?
Increase PAB access to investigative information from law enforcement to improve transparency.
That'll already be in whatever cases.
Are you all keeping it, and if someone can explain what it means?
I think we should take it out. I don't think we have the ability to increase our own access to anything. That sounds like something that would have to be done through agents, like some kind of legislation or something afforded to us.
Thank you, Daniel. Are you all in agreement?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the words of Daniel, thumbs up.
Number 9, identify incidents that represent the most important targets of perceived impacts within the community. I put that also explained.
Received
That's
target.
a trend, you know.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah,
that's the same thing as trends. I mean, glaring trends
yeah.
that we see through looking at the cases, I
Close
think.
target.
Keep or go?
If the matrix has determination of higher impact, we would just be identifying which ones fall in that category, which is
Right.
trend.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay, we'll take it out.
Because if we look at cases where
There you go.
people get a
Like
ticket,
this. Right here.
and we keep on saying, it's not a case because the guy was disorderly. But it's really, you get a ticket, so you just mad at him, you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, well, we have finished now goal 3, we are on goal 4. Almost done. Okay, goal 4, inform public about policing matters and promote transparency and keep public informed about policing matters. That's a lot, so do you all like the way that says? Because the first sentence, inform public about policing matters, is the same as keep public informed about policing.
You know what I'm gonna say.
So would you all be okay with inform public about policing matters and promote transparency? Sure. Or promote transparency by informing public about, or do you wanna?
Yeah, I like that.
Instead of.
And that'll be something that's in the report anyway, right? Or in our weekly, our quarterly update on the web.
We can,
Yeah.
Okay. The first objective is provide opportunity for community members to observe and or participate in PAB meetings and initiatives.
They're doing that now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting ready to say it, yeah.
Can't get much.
So let me ask you all a question to participate.
That was my question, it says and or participate.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know they.
that-
Can people raise their hand on here and if they wanted to, they're not allowed to?
There's a question, did we put that on there? It used to be a question section.
Or chat, or, yeah.
I'm looking on the screen now, I
there's
don't
no
see.
open comment
There's
area
no
in
open
our,
comment anymore.
in our agenda.
Oh.
Is that something
Okay.
y'all wanna have?
Yeah, that's fine.
They could just go to our website and say whatever they think about the last meeting and stuff like that, or give us information,
So I'm gonna divide it out. First is in the participate. Are you all okay with taking that part out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay?
Yep.
Mr. James, you put your eyes up, so.
Point of clarification, we're talking about removing the provision, we're talking about taking out the word participate in that first goal and provide opportunities for community members to observe and or we're taking out participate. That's the proposal on the floor right now.
That's what I was asking, yes.
I think, I heard it kind of said, but like having an open section of the meeting for community members to come ask questions to us, I think should be an option. Because I think, there's a reason that these meetings are open, and also we've heard from a few members of law enforcement who have come into these meetings and spoken to us. So I feel like the opportunity should be afforded to members of the public who also want to, say their piece in this space.
So, if you all are in agreement with Daniel, what I would then add is, add to our, agenda, open
Like a
comment.
5-minute open comment section.
In the beginning? Yeah.
At the
At the end, at the end, okay.
Is everybody okay with that?
Um,
Somebody not?
Tina?
I just don't like the end, and the reason I don't like the end is because I want us to go into closed session and come back, right? And now it's like they have to figure out when they can come back and be
That's
a
what I
part
was
of
saying
it.
at the beginning.
So the beginning works better for me.
Yeah,
We can develop some process around that. They may need to submit, a sign up,
Mhm.
because it may be limited to,
Yeah.
10 minutes or something.
Right.
So they may get 2 minutes each, and we'll do it based on signups, but I think it should be at the beginning.
Yep.
And not at
That's
the
for
end.
everybody though, is that?
That's what, that's for the public.
Okay, for the public, so the police can, chief can get on and talk all day.
It's the public.
Okay.
This is the public's 2 minutes.
Right.
Okay, all right.
And so you would be okay, I just wanna make sure, if we had something happen, they would heard something, and 50 people came, and each given 2 minutes, because you're giving them 2.
What I'm saying is, we have a 10-minute we have a 10-minute period
Window.
designated for window for public comment.
Mhm.
People who would like to participate in the public comment section would need to email or register or something
Right.
of that nature, and using a date timestamp, that's how we can determine
So,
How many?
who goes into those, into the 2 minutes each, speaking block, 10 minutes. So that's the best way I can,
So why
think of
can't
an
we just
opportunity.
we had the chat on there, and whatever question they had, they put it in the chat box.
Cause
So
then we've
I-
been managing a chat meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
all right,
so,
that's true.
This is Zoom,
Mhm.
I'm assuming, right? So I'm very familiar with Teams. Teams has a difference. You can do chat, but you can also do Q&A.
Mhm.
Zoom usually has a lot of these features.
They
You
do.
might
They
have
have
a
to-
Q&A, where Q&A goes to the moderator.
Right.
In order of their
Mhm.
submission, we can just explain that we all have this, as we normally do, submit your questions or comments through Q&A. We will address them as they come in for 10 minutes, or whatever our time block is. If we don't get to your question, we might have to have a contingency for how
With
we
the
get.
Q&A you talking about, they are not talking. We're just,
Right. Right.
this is a question from Judy Jones, or someone that she's asking this, and we discuss, answer that question.
Yeah, and I'm
So-
I feel like that's participation, but I feel like it allows us a lot more control over the interaction. Opening up cameras, letting people say whatever, you might get some people who ain't even got no intention to ask that question.
Right,
They
right.
just about to say something disruptive, or disrespectful, or
Well,
offensive.
then let me ask another question, two questions, one for you and one for you. Assuming Zoom, open time, can they come in here and do it, or is it
You
only?
mean in person?
Yes. That was my
Right now,
first
these
question.
were open.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they are.
can.
I don't.
They can't, I'm saying,
Oh,
but you
during
were
that
talking
time,
about
yeah.
virtual, so.
Except that they can't really get in the building.
Again, what?
Cannot
into the
enter
building.
the building. Want to attend.
So when we
We
go,
basically did
Yeah.
have.
If they were to sign up,
that's what I was gonna say, what Keenan
then
said, I
we
think
would,
it's a,
we would accommodate the
Yep.
people who had signed up, to make
Yep.
sure they can get in the building, especially if you have a time limit, the first 10 minutes.
right.
Somebody would be downstairs for the first 10 minutes to let them in, and after that, no.
They're not gonna do it, no.
Yeah, and again, both Keenan and Lafayette are right, that sign up lets us know that we can accommodate it, and then controlling it, so it just won't be a session where you just dump, right? So I think it's easier, particularly, and so we'll give them a time limit. I mean, we can decide that, but I like the sign up a lot better. And it's almost like when you go to speak to the county council, you have to sign up.
And most of, like with at least for the planning board, you have to sign up by Monday by noon or something.
Yeah, you got it.
You gotta do it within a certain time. I did wanna ask you, I know you said close, but what about if they did it, and it's simply a question, prior to any closing?
Exactly, that's what
As
I'm saying.
opposed to, I know you
Oh,
were
okay.
saying after it reopens, but I'm saying at the end of the open agenda, not after the end of open, close, open.
Got you. In which case, I think that may be something that's manageable. And you can set a reasonable expectation on people's time and ours as well.
And
So,
part of that is.
but I just don't like the end of the meeting, 'cause I don't know.
And let me tell you, the only reason is something may come up at that meeting that they might want to speak to, and if they finished at the beginning, they would have to wait.
You
know.
saying doing it at the beginning?
My only, I don't even know why, well, my only drawback to it is the sign-up piece, right? And now, am I commenting on something before, or now I'm in the meeting and something was said, and now I'm prompted to wanna comment?
Yeah.
Right,
But you have to
right.
That
sign
kinda
up.
throws off the sign-up portion, but I understand what you're saying. It's,
Do we
But
want
if we can
but
put
we
it
can,
in the
we can,
time,
yeah, we can still put it in there.
yeah, we can, yeah.
Yeah.
But do
I
we,
mean, in my experience, when boards like this have open meetings, or have open sections of, that is a time where the public shows up and speaks, and the board doesn't address it.
Right, they don't
This is
address.
they just talk.
Talk.
It's not a question and answer,
Right.
it's not us saying, oh, okay, we just take that, and then if there's something of value to respond to, the next meeting,
You do.
we will
Pick it
respond
up,
to
right,
that.
okay.
or like the,
I just have a comment. If you do it at the beginning of the meeting, you always know what time somebody's gonna speak. If we do it at the end of the meeting, like it's 8:08 now, and you all still aren't through. So it could be 9:00, or they'll sit here and wait and not know when they're
That's
going
like
to be
Keenan
able
said,
to.
yeah.
I know that's why you said it's in, but
we do just like the
I
county
can't,
council and
exactly.
school board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You get
Where,
there, you get there.
at the beginning of the county council's meeting, if you signed up to speak, they go through everybody speak, then that time, was it a minute or whatever, that's over with, bye, and Then they start their meeting,
Okay, I like that.
You
Sign
don't
up.
address none of that.
Sign up if you wish to, yep, yep,
We,
yep,
it's already it's recorded, so,
yep, I like
you know,
that.
we look at that way.
That's a great, I like that.
So we'll have so are we keeping and or participate, and we'll explain what that means.
Daniel has his hand.
Oh, sorry, Daniel, yes, sir.
No, I think actually, my question was answered through the process of your conversation, so I'm all good. Thank you.
So we're all in agreement, right? Okay.
Yes.
We are now on, and it says goals, but that should be objective, so cross that out if you. Okay. Milestone, oh, isn't that funny? I'm sorry, 'cause forgot to look at the next page. Provide for public attendance at in-person PAB meetings, stream in-person and virtual, and provide public comment during all.
Mm.
But now we'll add in the sign-up piece, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, provide ongoing information about policing matters to the community. Here we have published annual report not later than December 31st. If it's okay with you all, we'll try to merge, right? Because one is on or do you want it in both sections? And it can be.
For things to be compartmentalized. I like things to be compartmentalized.
Okay, so we do it twice?
No.
Or once?
Yeah.
Okay, which one do y'all want it under? The informed public or the way it is now is, it's under, sorry, bear with me, it's under goal 3. Which one do you all want? Improve the annual report. We can move that out of goal 3 and move it over to goal 4. Are y'all okay with that? So it'll be, instead of the broader improved police accountability, it'll be under informed public about policing matters. And we'll put the annual report all in that section.
Okay. No problem.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. I'll merge them, and then y'all can say what you think. So we'll keep that, and I'll just move that other stuff over. Okay. Annual, leverage social media and other online tools to communicate more effectively with the general public. You want that one to stay?
I don't think I want that. I'm like Mr. Mel with that control.
I'm gonna say it as it's outside of our scope to do that.
But somebody would have to.
No, well, y'all vote, so tell me, in or out?
Out.
Online, that's as good as social media as we need.
Okay.
Say it again, King.
Outside the scope.
I don't know what this means, but communicate policy and policy changes related to police conduct. Where are we doing it, when are we doing it, how are we doing it? Are we keeping this?
Say it again.
That's the same thing as trends.
No.
These are when they change policy and.
Oh, when
But
they change policy.
If there was a
I
policy
see.
change
Okay.
as a result of recommendations that we made,
Mm-hmm.
Annual
I think
report.
our annual report.
Thank you. Kenny, was you getting ready to say
The
that?
thing is, I don't know if we're gonna know it,
Yeah, we may not.
right? It could be a police department makes a policy change. They have no
yeah.
responsibility to tell us
inform us,
that they
correct.
made a policy change.
But if they do, and we put that in our annual
If they
report, I
tell
think
us.
that serves us well.
Right, if they let us know, right.
Our influence.
So do you wanna add this as one of those dots
It's a
to the
category.
annual report?
Yeah, it's one of the new
Right.
categories.
Mhm.
If
And
it
so
ever
how
happens.
can we have our chats with the police chiefs, we could, policy change, share with us?
Okay. The next one, under this one, is host community meetings. And we had that in the other one, so where do you?
Yeah, I suppose we have that somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna move 'cause that talks about that 12 coffee circles. I think somebody put it both places, so we're gonna just merge it and put it in the original one, or in one of the
So
two.
I might have recommended the coffee circle, because,
Oh, for the community outreach?
yeah,
Okay.
but that's under community.
So, because this is a strategic plan, are you all gonna conduct forums, town halls, semi-annually? Do you want that staying in here?
Oh, that was the same thing that you were talking about before,
I mean,
right?
I'd rather keep the host at least 3 in-person community listening sessions, 'cause
Yeah.
That's about the same.
forums and town halls are different things that we have
Absolutely.
moved to long-term, so.
Yeah.
So, do we wanna maybe put this as an option for the long
For
term?
the long term, yes.
Okay. The next one, attend at least 12 coffee circles annually. Is that gonna stay?
12 annually? That means one per month.
That's not everybody, right?
No, I mean, it wouldn't, but we would have to, somebody would have to show up to one per month.
I'll probably go.
You could do 12?
They happen every,
Yeah, Wednesday, right?
Yeah, every Wednesday,
Yeah.
so once a month, yeah.
But it says
But
for
it's
each police district,
Yeah, those
not
are for
just.
the 9
Oh.
That's 9 districts doing
That's
one a
9
month.
times
You can do
12.
that.
Yeah.
No,
Not
no,
a month.
no,
That's only 108?
Because
Well-
of good math.
So you talking
Perhaps-
about
I'm sure they don't
community-
overlap
maybe
on the
12
same
is a
page.
little
community
much,
board
okay.
that each district have, when they have their meeting and be a part of that
Yeah,
meeting.
they have a coffee chat with the police
Are you
department
talking
and the
about the
community.
citizen advisory?
Yeah, don't each one of them have,
Yeah, each
Yeah,
district has one of those, too.
right.
having somebody go to that, you're saying?
No, they have a coffee chat
Yeah,
with,
they also do this coffee.
yeah,
coffee circle or
yeah.
whatever, for each district. Maybe at least one, I don't know.
That's what I think that sounds reasonable.
What's
Which
that?
one?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Which one?
At least one.
At least one coffee
Yeah.
circle.
District,
Okay,
Minimum
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
one,
In
right?
what period of time?
through a year.
Each
Yeah.
fiscal year?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's,
In each district?
oh,
Okay.
that's what you
One
you
for
meant?
each
Yeah, I
district
mean,
Oh.
per year.
If you got a year.
It's only 6 or something.
9.
9, okay.
Yes, sir.
And it's mainly open to the board members, but I'm trying to understand the purpose. What is the purpose of attending coffee circles?
Well, that's how, in my view, that's how we'll give the presentation, the PowerPoint.
That's if they let us.
But,
we have to
right, that's
tell them
their
that
meeting.
this-
I know it's their meeting,
Yeah.
and so we would communicate when we go there that this is what we're going to do. Fine.
We probably have to get the schedule of each district meeting.
I
when
have
they
that, but,
You know what I mean, and then call them ahead of time that Earl O'Neill is coming to, what is it, 8th district. I mean,
when I go, I just simply stand up and say, I'm here.
So, we're not even hosting these.
Okay.
No,
That's-
We have it under host community meetings,
Yeah,
so it's not even us hosting it.
No, it's not.
attend, we should say attend or whatever.
Does it say host?
No, it
This
says
is
attend.
10.
Oh, it says
Attend,
attend, which
yeah.
is just a little.
Attend at least.
Yeah, at least 9, at least one per district a year.
Vote.
that's a tough ask for me.
Really?
For me, one per year. I mean, I know we have, what,
But
11
it's not
board
for
members?
everybody.
Right, 11 board members, so.
No, not every board member.
No, I'm doing the math in my head. We
Oh,
have
okay.
11 board members, so that means that we can have a rotation.
Yeah, or
Um,
9 in 1 year.
But what I do wanna just say, whatever y'all decide, we're gonna do an evaluation of how we met these things.
Okay.
So, whatever y'all say y'all gonna do, and it's in this
we need,
publicly published
right,
strategic plan, y'all need to be ready to
exactly.
do it, so. To go along with the 3 other ones you're gonna do,
Yeah, with
the
the coffee,
annual
yeah.
report you're
Now,
gonna
we
do,
also
the
talking
coffee
about,
chat you're gonna
And the
do.
chief.
So if y'all are prepared,
I guess I just,
we also talking about just Prince George's County Police when we talk about this. We're not talking, you know, 'cause Morningside, those people, boy, has this.
I disagree.
But,
There are municipalities that have these
yeah.
as well.
Oh,
They
that's
do.
what I'm saying.
So-
I'm saying what.
So we can't limit, like you
Yeah.
said, we can't limit it to say Prince George's County. I think for me,
Somebody
that's a
said
tough
9.
ask.
I thought there were 9.
Yeah, but when we talk about Morningside, they have their coffee chat, or
Okay.
Bowie might have their coffee chat, and.
We can take it out.
So we-
So I just wanna make
can I
sure.
move it to the long term for figuring
Okay.
it out?
Yeah.
to not take it off, 'cause that might
Yeah.
be what you all decide becomes the vehicle for those in-person. Who knows?
That's kind of what I was thinking, but okay.
Yeah.
We'll take it out for now.
Well, I'm not taking, I'm just,
I mean,
We'll
move it
move it to
to
the-
the
yeah.
long term.
I like that.
next one says, document and communicate the PAB's authorities, requirements, and activities. And let me also say, as you hear these, you might say, didn't we say that?
Mhm.
Well, different people were offering it, and we
Mhm.
put everything
Gotcha.
in here,
Yes,
so
it
if you
was.
see
Okay.
multiple, that might be why. So do you all wanna keep that?
You said communicate our authority,
Yeah.
what?
Okay. That's an annual report, and maybe the verbiage
Mhm.
we'll put in there,
Yeah.
okay? Fair enough. Establish quarterly electronic newsletter update intend for community to advise of policing and public safety matters. There was somewhere else that y'all talked about a newsletter,
Oh,
That was the
a
template.
quarterly one-pager.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you all wanna do with this one?
Go ahead, Mr. J. What-
Come on, you know what this is.
Yep, I already know. That's why I looked right at it.
It's past Scope Creek, that's a whole new job.
That's what I- Thank you.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you see us advising on policing matters?
Oh.
That'd be fun. So is that a yay or nay?
That's a nay for me.
Okay. So that means we can take out the milestone as well,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So y'all got out of not having to have something by the 30th of September. Goal 5, equip PAB board staff and consultants with knowledge, skills, and processes to perform civil oversight of law enforcement agencies. But, okay, are you all, just a question, are you all doing the oversight? Are you doing civil oversight? I know y'all are looking at best practices and trends, but if you all could go into some understanding of what it means, civil, because to me, it might need to be just to do your job, whatever that is.
That is, yeah, that is our job.
Yay, nay?
Nay.
I mean, the other part, let me read the objectives.
Okay.
Provide formalized training opportunities for PAB members, staff, and consultants deemed necessary or as directed by the state, county, and/or Maryland Training Standards Commission. Provide and encourage development opportunities of police acumen. I wrote and explained. Implement methodology for effective PAB operations. Provide process for ongoing review and analysis of state and county legislation. Provide for submission of proposed legislative and/or regulatory changes to the county executive and county council. So I read them all, and then we can go, because knowledge and skills and processes to serve in this position, to serve as a member of the PAB. Y'all, because y'all voted in favor of this.
So it's like,
Everybody.
continuing education, that's what I'm thinking.
So are y'all still okay with the goal if we take off the oversight
Yeah.
portion? We'll come up with it to perform as PAB members. Okay, can we go number 1? That one, yay?
We require
That's the training, right?
Yeah.
Provide and encourage development opportunities of oversight acumen. I don't know what that means. Someone could provide.
I interpret it to mean whatever the knowledge and skills were needed, provide those developmental opportunities. It's very vague and very general. So I would say we could nix it if we need, if there are specific things that we identify attending conferences might be one of those things. Going to certain trainings might be one of those things. If we cite those as specific objectives, we can get rid of that.
Okay, so we can add that
Long-term. But,
to
but is it cited in here someplace else?
I'm sorry.
Is that cited somewhere else?
We can.
I think the goal itself says the same thing, basically. Equipping
Mhm.
with the knowledge skill is the same as number 2. So number 2 is basically saying what the goal was.
Number 3, implement methodology for effective PAB operations.
Like the rules of procedure, so
That's
we've
to
done that,
say,
we've developed the rules of procedure.
But we haven't,
What we're
under
doing.
review,
Yeah.
consideration. And then for the previous one discussed, it's provide formalized training, but is it attend formalized training? As opposed to
Ah.
it
provide.
says opportunities, training opportunities.
Yeah.
So I'm back on number 3. Do you all want to say rules of procedure? Develop rules of procedure rather than the methodology for?
Mhm. I like that.
Ms. Bryant, that's because you made reference.
I'm sorry, say that, what is your question?
Develop rules of procedure
Uh-huh.
for the PAB.
Okay, you said you wanted to change it to what?
No, I'm saying, is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned it, okay. And what you said. Number 4 is provide process for ongoing review and analysis of state legislation.
Mm.
And the number 5, provide for submission of proposed legislative and or regulatory changes to the county executive.
I think we do need to look at that. I mean, just be aware of it, because, I mean, the last legislative sessions, there was some bills as relates to,
Or to have every municipality have their own PAB or something like that.
yeah, I mean, you know, so somebody might, this is January, you know, when they assess to see what, just be aware of what bills are being introduced as it relates to a PAB.
And
There were changes in that, you
it
know.
may be just that you can review it like y'all did with what you did last time, and if you decide so choose to make those recommendations. If you choose not to, like you all did make recommendations on the legislative, county and state. That's something y'all did do this year.
So provide for submission, just read.
No, I think that one should go away.
Submit or
I think we can be more direct.
Yeah.
Review, I mean, I do think y'all should be reviewing to know what affects, and then if you
But
decide.
that kind of came up, you remember, in the coffee clutch, I mean, with the chiefs, and we said we not gonna testify, but if they have stuff that they wanna introduce, they could run it past us if we agree on it, but we're not gonna testify changes that they would like to see as far as we're concerned, you know what I mean?
You bring up a great point that I want to pose to you all, because where do you send it, right? Because do you say, we're reviewing it, we said in ours, we're sending to the county council and county executive, and let them do what they may, as opposed to this group going straight to the state,
Well,
right?
we wouldn't send it nowhere. What we had talked about, if you remember that meeting, we said, if Greenbelt say, you know, they're gonna testify to the legislature, because we did have people last year that they have the Prince George PAP has no problem with this new institution of legislation. That's what I'm saying, you know. You just have to be aware of that they can use us, but we wouldn't submit nothing to nobody, you know what I mean? We can't, I mean, as far as our changes, we wouldn't do that. But we would consult them or work with them to see if we agree with those changes, that's all I'm saying.
But now because I think those are two different things. So the one I'm talking about is if there's a piece and we think something, like Jolene Ivy had something, and she said, could you tell me what you think? We look at it, and if we have an opinion, you could send it to the council or the county executive. Right. I don't think in any case should it be going to the state, because that's not our position. We are appointed by locally. Now, if you were appointed by a delegate, I might have a different opinion.
Yeah, but the deal is, the last legislative session, we had people, some of the legislation was basically that they wanted to change that Bowie could have their own municipality. So in that case, we do have stuff to deal with on a state level if that legislation come up. You know, and I'm saying on both, and even
I'm say again, I could see us running into some issues, speaking on a state piece before and not going through our county executive who appoints you or the county council.
You missed what I said. At the beginning, I started talking. I said, we ain't testifying nowhere. I just said, be aware of what's on the state level. You know, and if the police chief has something at the state legislature, we talked about, they would meet with us to see if we agree. And we say, and they could mention in their testimony that we met with the Prince George's County PAB, and they had no problem with that. But I'm not talking about us testifying for nobody, testifying in front of nobody on anything, because we can't do that.
But again, Ms. O'Neill, I'm still thinking we deal with them separately. Got one separate. Yeah. I'm just saying, are you all okay with reviewing legislation or whatever that might come and making, if you see something, sharing it with the county executive and the county council? That's fair.
Yeah, sure. And I'm talking about it not in a testimony, but
No. The two different things.
About two different things.
Okay. This one is just, are you okay, like we just did? We looked at the act and we looked at the bill. We looked at the county and y'all did. And y'all made some recommendations like the and/or. Mm-hmm. To be able to do that going forward. Are y'all okay with that?
Yeah. My only caveat to it, Mr. Chair, is if it's proposed legislation as well, not just enacted.
Oh,
but there may be proposed legislation that we need to consider, putting it, I don't even want to call it an opinion, because I don't want to go that
I know
far,
what you mean.
but some type of information or educational piece to the county executive, county council.
And that's the
So that they can work it, they can
Right.
then move it up. If it's a state legislative piece, if it's local, then again, we're writing to them locally.
So if y'all are okay with that,
Yes.
keep going on that.
I'm
Because y'all
fine.
done it, okay. Now to Mr. O'Neill's one. Do you want, because you're saying if we met to tell somebody that we're okay with it, right? That's what you're.
No, I was saying, it came up at the chief's meeting, that if they came with something, that they thought some changes and we agreed with it, we would meet them before, and we made the understanding that, we would bring it back to the board, say this is what they're looking to do, at the state level or the county level, and we have no problem with you mentioning our names, the PAB, in that legislation. But, that's all I was saying.
I understand you, but I just find it hard to put that as a goal, if that's just something we don't even know if it's gonna happen.
Well,
So then we don't need to really put it in here. We can have an agreement about our comments,
okay, right.
but it wouldn't be something like a
As far as our goals,
Yeah,
right.
milestone.
All I was saying is, we need to review all legislation,
Yeah.
or whatever,
Okay.
proposed legislation.
Okay.
That,
So we'll take out that provide process for and be more direct.
Okay.
Okay. And then the last ones was state legislative review, which we did, county, which by September, which we've done it. And then proposed legislative changes not later than November. This one was y'all being proactive. Do you all still want to keep that one in there? That's the only way that anything would happen if we get it to them. Yay, nay, everybody vote? Please. I deleted it.
I mean, in my terms, in looking at this, if we wanna propose something and we've gotta get it to the county executive or the county council, November is the latest.
Right.
So that they
So
can
y'all
start
wanna
to
keep
work towards that January start point.
Yeah.
If we wait any later than November, we're probably gonna miss the session.
Right,
And I was talking less about the date, but more whether you wanted to do it at all.
right.
I think it's important for us to have a pipeline.
Can we keep it? Y'all keep it, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, then collaboration with ACC and AHB on legislative, policy, and or regulatory matters, yes or no, Keith or not?
The only reason I would say no is because they don't have a policy position, but we can always solicit them,
Okay,
but they may not wanna provide a policy position.
is everyone in agreement that we take that one off?
Yes.
Additional comments, add a prologue or historical, which is Danny V. Cultivate an open dialogue with stakeholders about areas of interest and activity. Coordinate and collaborate with oversight counterparts. I don't know what the document and communicate, that's all it said. And we would be referring to calendar, will we be referring to calendar or fiscal year?
Can we clarify what that one,
Yeah.
that means?
Fiscal would be July 1.
I know, but in terms of what are we talking about? For example, we said we have an annual report that's due December 31st. That's calendar.
Right.
So, I'm just trying to make sure we're clear on what year we're using, or we just,
I'd like to use the calendar year.
So I'll give you an example where, for that one, because it's in December calendar, right? But you might wanna say when you're gonna meet with 3 meetings, is that gonna be calendar or is that gonna be fiscal? Because when we originally did this, it was to start in July,
Right.
so it would have been a fiscal year for measuring the different things.
I vote on calendar.
Mine too.
Fair with that.
So y'all want calendar?
this plan, if I understand, is they're gonna be based on calendar year?
That's what y'all tell us.
The only reason I ask is, for example, the last one we just talked about has a November date, so it wouldn't be, start realistically until January.
Say that again.
We have a November 23 goal, which we just talked about if we
Right.
propose, right?
Mhm.
But if we're looking at the whole plan to go in the calendar year, then we can't start in November, the plan that's effective January 1st, if I understand.
That
But-
November 3rd, that November was just, if, I think it had to do with if there was, wanted to make some proposals for changes in the General Assembly
Correct.
in January.
And I'm just saying, if the plan itself is January to December,
Uh-huh.
then that November date in and of itself has to move to 24. If we're not effective, unless we're starting the plan, I guess I'm hearing two different things.
Yeah, and you all actually voted, this plan started July 1.
Right.
So it was a fiscal year, the
Right,
plan
the
itself
initial-
was
right.
fiscal year. Wasn't a calendar year.
All right.
I'll put it back in there and give you some time to think on it. And maybe try to find some implications on the places it would be effective. How about that?
Well, okay, I just vaguely remember us saying that this was sort of a living document, that we were gonna set it and establish it as a starting point. Be a very, not loose, but
Mhm.
firm action plan, but that we were not prohibited from just kind of it, being a living document.
And you're right about that, but
With the fiscal thing, I looked at it as not necessarily a hard start, but it's just when we started.
But if you go back, you all had two things. One was the short term, which was
Yeah.
fiscal. The other one was gonna be the 3 to 5 year plan.
Yeah, I just didn't remember the short term being
Yeah,
fiscal.
yeah. And I'll go back to the notes, Ms. Melton, just to make sure. Okay, can you all believe we finished it?
No, are you serious? Let's start over.
This part?
No.
Don't do that.
Okay. So you're done, and you'll get that.
Can we get an updated version so that we can read through it?
And don't ask me for my due date, no.
I was gonna let Ms. Bryant do that.
I just asked her that.
I have to work with staff to,
Okay.
to do that, because there was a lot in here, I'm gonna try to pull some stuff, but they weren't, I mean, you know, it's probably Tangi, or Ashley, we're gonna have to sit, and make sure they understand it. We will have it, it's okay, Mr. Chair, what we will do is work for it through the August, get it to you in August, so that y'all can vote on something in September.
Okay.
I don't wanna create an expectation that we're not gonna meet.
Okay. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you for the
No, thank you.
opportunity.
Next on our agenda, moving right along. Community outreach. I'll speak on that real quick. I have emailed, OCR, and I placed a phone call. So I was thinking, until I hear back, I checked my email, until I hear back, we may, use one of the coffee chats, to do that. So the next one, Ms. Bryan, is when? This Friday?
On,
Evenings and daytime?
yeah,
Yeah,
they're at
it's
10
at 10
o'clock,
o'clock.
Wednesday at
Yeah.
9.
That's, Wednesday coming up,
That's in District 3 at 8.
District 3. Are you going to that one?
Let me see. Yes.
Okay. So we can use that one right now,
Perfect.
if that's okay?
Mhm.
All right. Ms. Brown will be attending that, and then I'll get with you and I'll try to,
Okay.
attend that with you.
So what's the plan?
Eight together, or is different
Which one
places?
is she
They have
Oh.
them together.
The District 3 coffee chat.
I think it's 3 and 8, because when I went to the last one, first District 3 talks, and then District 8
Oh,
talks.
okay,
The police give a little brief,
right.
a little report to what's going on, and then the second.
So I know they have that somewhere, so I can,
It's on McLean Avenue in,
Three and eight.
McLean Avenue in Glen Arden.
and, okay. So we'll go ahead and send that out to the board, the date and the time and everything. Now, we don't have to ask to get on their agenda or anything like that?
It depends on what we wanna do. Like I said, when I went, I just simply said, I'm Sheila Bryant, I'm on the Police Accountability Board.
And I guess we can, let them know that we will be planning, community coffee chats,
Okay.
and
I
let
can
them
say
know,
that.
yeah,
I can do that.
okay. And if you can get some contact information of anybody that may be
I think
interested.
I have them, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, and we'll send that out,
Okay.
send that invitation out, okay, thank you.
And then related to that, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know we were asked about, community organizations to reach out to and provide input on that as well, so is there a status on that?
Yeah, so I have not heard back from OCR as of yet. I did email, one of the directors, assistant directors again, a couple of days ago, so I'm waiting to hear back. I was gonna try to go there today, but I'm gonna try to show up tomorrow or Friday, to catch one of them and ask to give us some of that information.
So as it relates to just being asked by staff, like who we recommend, because that's, I know I was requested recommendations and submit those in too, for community organizations.
You submitted some?
Yeah,
Oh, you did?
yes.
Okay, so I tell you what, can you do me a favor? I know, can you go ahead and send it to me again? And we can go ahead and take a look at that as well. We'll put that in. If it's a problem, don't worry about it, I'll just go through my
Nope.
email. Okay, thank you.
Some of your mail is going to,
You didn't mark me with junk.
I don't know, I have to search for it. He said it said there, I find them,
Go,
but they don't go to the inbox.
it's there and you responded to it too. I'm gonna send you the forward with your response.
For the organization?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't notice this before, but at the bottom it says that, the PAB will accommodate public comments via the chat
Mhm.
feature Zoom.
Yeah,
And, you can send questions to the,
yeah.
so.
Yes, sir.
Are you finished with that?
Yes, well, yes, sir. Well, let me make sure, Mr. James.
Mr. James, was other organizations or where you wanted us to send the, advertisements? Because I did get something for you for the advertisement.
I'm gonna look for it, and I'm gonna make sure before I answer it incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure it was community outreach. But I will double check it and, get that to you before we walk out of this meeting.
Okay, and so as of right now, Ms. Bryant, we're gonna go ahead and, with the coffee chat on Wednesday. No.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay,
And just tell them that we are planning to host
yeah,
coffee chats with the public.
Yeah.
And it'll be more information upcoming.
Yeah.
And also get points of contact.
yes, Mr. O'Neill.
My question is, it's about the Zoom call, the interviews we had Monday.
Mhm.
What was the result?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear nothing about, we voted on it, but I didn't hear nothing else.
Let's see.
Mr. Lawson and Mr. Connett both got 7 votes. Mr., I'll be saying this.
No.
No, I'm just saying that we didn't get a reply.
So let's do this, so,
Just send a reply.
that's what I was getting ready to say, I'll do that right after, we'll do that.
The tally, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 'cause
I did have a chance to meet them both today.
Oh, you did?
in the
Oh, they were
training.
at the training. Oh, good,
yeah.
good.
The training was today, wasn't it?
Oh, good.
AHB training.
Yesterday and today, I think, right?
Yep, 2 days.
Yes. Yes. But they were engaged, and, were engaged.
And
Go ahead.
so we also are we're gonna try to get our feelers for more people to get more for the team to make it.
Just to make sure, yeah, I think that, yeah.
Okay.
We got in 2 more,
Oh,
2 more applications, 3 more applications.
3, okay.
All right.
So then, okay,
All right, that's good, that's
Yeah,
all.
as a matter of fact, 1 came in today.
yeah.
awesome.
Okay, thank you. Next up is meeting with the ACC. I will ask them tomorrow, a lot of them are on vacation, for the next couple of weeks, so I was thinking maybe our next meeting, they can come in and sit on and introduce themselves and kinda have a dialogue. But I'll make sure I get that date. We had 1 member missing last week, and then 1 was missing the week before that, so I wanna try to make sure we give them all the opportunity. Next one, and then they meet on Thursday, so sometimes it's a little difficult doing back-to-back days for them.
I could imagine.
New business, conference attendance, that is, what day, is the date is August what? 16th through the 21st?
No, 19.
Oh, I just extended that, didn't I?
All the way till Monday.
Yeah,
What conference is that?
that is,
Mako?
Mako.
Mako, yeah.
Yeah. So, the next conference, I'll be, sending out invitations to people who, will be going to possibly go. I know we have a limited amount of people we can go, send now because of the budget, so we have to look at that as well. Then, I guess you guys will provide a nice spreadsheet and a nice PowerPoint and all that good stuff, right? No, I'm just joking, just joking,
Hey, when you
just
get
joking,
that.
it's fun. Okay. Move, next is a briefing from the July 25th Police Chiefs meeting. Myself and Mr. Vice Chair, we were able to attend that along with Denise. Basically what we did, they gave us an opportunity to introduce ourselves. We, just told them that we wanted to be the conduit between the police department and the public, that we are holding coffee chats with the chief, and that before we have another coffee chat with the chiefs, we wanna make sure that we extend it to the public, to make sure that the citizens, that we wanted to make it balanced, so we wanna make sure that we have 1 with the chiefs and then 1 with the public. That was pretty much it. They went over some things, that was in their meeting that I took some notes and learned some information about them doing their job, which I think was very good. Again, because their meetings are closed, I don't discuss what they discussed in their meeting, but they said that we have an open invitation almost to come,
Okay.
so, we'll get that on the calendar, yes, ma'am.
I wonder, did they give any feedback about the new, one or the mental health?
Oh, no,
They didn't?
no, but I guess, yeah. That,
I'd be interested to see if that's getting any results. 988, what is it?
Mhm,
988?
mhm.
okay. But I will say that the police chiefs were very receptive, thought that we would, I mean, they thanked us for the job that they were doing. They were saying now that everything seems to be running a lot smoother, so they were very happy, that we even making the effort to extend that invitation and to get involved and engage with them. That was it, Mr. Vice Chair. Did you have anything on that? 'Cause you were.
Yeah, I mean, they're really excited. We got a couple folks that have offered to provide us with, who was the police chief for Glen Arden?
yeah, Glen
Who was
Arden.
talking about, they got no, Cottage City, it was Cottage
Oh.
City.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Cottage City, Chief Ayers. They recently got a grant to buy some virtual reality equipment to train their officers, and so he wanted to extend an invitation for us. He could even bring it here.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, to do it, and it grades on biases, types of equipment that's used, different scenarios, and how to handle those scenarios, and so it's a really good piece of equipment, and he wanted to, extend the offer to show us, have us demo it with them.
Said it was quite expensive too.
Yeah.
Is that just, for use by their department, the municipality?
Well, I think they got a grant for it,
Yeah.
so I think that's where they're gonna start it off,
Yeah.
but, yeah. I'd
Said that they can
imagine.
bring it in, so
Yeah,
thought that would be great for them to do that.
and then also just a reminder about National Night Out.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah, what
that's
is
Tuesday.
that?
Tuesday, August 1st, National Night Out, so, you know.
It's at every,
Most police departments will
Yeah.
have something, so, you know, just check with whatever you're local to, and it's a
They
great
usually
opportunity
put
to go out.
signs up, the flash
Yeah.
signs in
Yeah.
the neighborhood, you know.
So you should have one, everyone should have one relatively close to
Right.
where they live.
Those are pretty cool, though.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
very cool. They're very cool. That was all I had on that police chief's meeting. Denise, did you have anything on that meeting? Announcements? I don't have
I'll
anything.
just say that, I attended, the police department, Georges County Police had a, ceremony for, Day or something. It was, to also recognize the police officers that was killed in action. Sort of like maybe it was a Memorial Day. Fallen
Yep.
Officer Day. I attended that, and it was really well done.
Oh, wow, okay. Okay. Denise, you have anything? No. Vice Chair? Nobody? Come on, man. Okay. All right, so with that being said, anything, that's it, I don't have anything else.
I've got a motion on my lips.
Do it.
What is it?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
That, Mr. Motion to adjourn. First it was, Mr. O'Neill.
Mr. O'Neill was first?
No, Carlo was first,
Yay.
Mr. O'Neill.
He was first to
He
second.
put you in spam, Mr. O'Neill.
I know, you put it in spam.
Jump.
Can
Oh,
you tell me what time you open the meeting, because I have gone down the hall.
6:40.
6:46. All in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you to
I think Danny's
8:52.
good. Daniel is good to go.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.